All right, everybody, we are here with Sophia NY Medium. That's what you prefer to go by, right? Sophia NY Medium?
Whatever. New York Medium, Sophia Murata. I am easy, Tony.
So am I. So am I.
Call
But
me anything. Not a bad word, but call me
well,
anything.
yeah, I was going to say calling myself easy has a different meaning from what you're talking about.
I could
But
bet.
so, how are you?
I am good. I
Yeah,
am good. Yep.
you
Yep.
excited about Saturday?
I am.
Is
I
this going to
am.
be your first time here?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yes, it is. I'm really excited. Feel it's going to be a really good night. Intimate night. Feel it's going to be good. I'm really
good,
looking forward to it. And I feel, when I do something, the people around me, their vibes are really important to me.
right?
And I feel it's all going to be good. Good people, good energy. So,
Well,
I'm not going to be looking to run out of there.
right. It is a great place, and lots of people just talk about how much they love it here. So good
Really.
audiences, good people. So yeah, I think you're gonna have everybody, yourself included, is gonna have a great time. And
Sounds
yeah,
good.
we're glad you're gonna be here. And it's and they have it's gonna be here at Governor's in Levittown, right?
Yes.
Because it was originally the brokerage. It's been moved.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be in the giggle room,
Right.
I
Okay.
believe.
Right. And at what time? It's a nighttime show or?
Yeah, three.
Oh, okay.
Three
3 o'clock.
afternoon. It's going to be an afternoon.
I see it. Yep.
Um,
Doors open at 1. Show starts at 3. Yeah, I see that now. Okay.
yep. Yep.
Excellent. So that's a fun afternoon. And the room holds about 100. Does it matter to you? When you're doing your, I don't know, what do you call it? Do you call it a show? I don't even know what you call it.
Like I said, I'm easy. You could call it whatever.
So
I
when you
think
make an
that
appearance like this, does it matter? What the room is like, or how many the room?
not, you know what? It's not so much the amount of people in the room, it's the vibration of the room, it's the vibration of the crowd, the people in the room. I could do an event and there could be 20 people in the room and they could be, I don't want to say difficult to read, but maybe not comfortable with it. Like they want to connect with their loved ones. You know, I've been doing this a very long time. I was born with disability,
Oh,
so I've been told, as far back as I can remember. And everybody wants to know their loved ones are okay and peace and in heaven,
right.
and okay. And some people are a little, they don't know what to expect. They're a little, I don't want to say freaked out by it, but apprehensive about it would be a good word.
Sure.
And some people are like, I don't care. I just want to know anything, and it's easy. So it's not so much the amount of people, it's the energy that they bring.
Okay. Sure.
Um, you know, and those people, I really try. I have no control. I have no idea on who comes through. I don't have them on speed dial. I can't pick up my phone and dial 1-800 mama. You know, it doesn't work that way. When I do an event, I have no control over who comes through.
Right.
I leave it to them. They know who needs it more, who needs it the most.
Oh, okay. That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. And I just follow their lead. I have, as I said, been doing this many years, and I learned to trust them. Um, I learned to trust them.
Sure.
It may be the silliest, seeming to me insignificant thing, but to that person that I'm reading, it could be a huge validation.
Right. So I mean, I've seen other, mediums on TV where they
Mhm.
talk about it. So is it the same where you'll see a number or you'll see a reference or something that makes sense to you, and then you'll relay it back, and then
You
then
know, I like to say I just deliver the mail. I don't read the mail.
you're just the
Um,
messenger. That's right.
I'm just the messenger. And like when I was waiting to talk to you, I kept on seeing the number 10.
Oh,
Um, I don't know what significance that has, if it's a birthday or.
Come on, you just look at this and see it's a 10.
This is true. This is
Right.
true.
Thanks for helping me out
Um,
on that.
but it's all different. I like to equate it as how we could speak all different languages. That's how they feel to me. Who's speaking Spanish, who's speaking English. They communicate all different ways, and that was what was difficult for me at the beginning, to learn to tune my ear into
Sure.
that.
Right.
Sometimes I'll hear a voice. I'm not schizophrenic, I promise, even though my husband will say I am sometimes. But after married 45 years, I guess he's okay to say that.
What? Did you just say 45 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a baby. He robbed the cradle,
I
let me
was going to
tell
say,
you.
would you get married at 2? What's going
Yeah,
on
I
here?
did.
Holy
I
moly.
did. But
Excuse me, 45 years. Well, congratulations. That's fantastic.
thank you. And we never fought a day,
Of course.
as
Of
he would
course.
say.
All right, so let me go back a little bit. So you said you've always have had this ability with, I don't, is that what you
You
would call it, an
know,
ability?
it's like growing up with something and not really understanding it, but kind of thinking. And I do believe we all have spirituality. We all have psychic abilities,
Oh,
especially children. I always tell people, listen to the babies, the
yeah.
children, even when they're not verbalizing yet. If they're looking at a corner in their room and giggling and laughing all the time, there's something going on there.
Yep, agreed.
And it's something that I grew up with, at times not knowing what I was dealing with.
Yeah, that's
Um,
why I asked, because that must have been very confusing growing up that way.
it was. It was an Italian American Brooklyn Catholic girl, dealing with this. And it was, it's so much more, and I'm so grateful. It's so much more accepted now,
Sure.
Tony, with shows, with people opening up. And, also, life is tough nowadays. Life is hard. And I feel that it's something, whatever you want to say, God, the universe, Buddha, whoever, wants us to have, to help us maybe open our hearts to, this is not just it. At the end of the day, they don't close the box and that's it. There is a heaven. I
Right.
talk to it all the time. So I think it gives people hope and peace and, healing, especially when somebody loses somebody, suddenly.
Yeah.
There's no, opportunity to say goodbye.
Well, all right. Yeah, that actually leads to a question that I had, which you pretty much answered already. But yeah, why do you think people need to connect so bad? Is it so that they can have that closure and saying goodbye? Because a lot of people, unfortunately, people die every day. I mean, and that's
Right.
usually it. Why do you think people need to have that closure though? Especially like if they're in heaven,
Mm-hmm.
then they're
Mm-hmm.
hearing already. So why do you think people need that validation so bad?
You know, I feel it's just that last, especially, at the end of someone's journey here, physicalness here on earth. Um, I think and it sounds, I hate to sound like a cliche, but it's all about, love. I love you, and, thank you for being in my life, and, being a great mom or dad, or, whatever.
Okay.
Um, I think we just need that one last opportunity to say that, to have our closure. And, you know, we're human, we're all not perfect. We all have, regrets along the way, things that, you know, we may want to say to somebody.
Sure.
And people tell me all the time, can you tell my mom I love her? Can you tell my dad I'm sorry? Whatever. Um, and they do come around. They do come around and check in on us. the other day I was reading a lady, and she was, I was telling her, your father's telling me about your keys, your keys, your keys. And she was like, oh my goodness, I, was rushing out, Christmas shopping, all this and everything. And I couldn't find my keys, and they were in like the refrigerator. She put the milk away and had the keys in her hand. And I says, well, your dad was laughing his pants off because he thought it was hysterical that you put the keys in the refrigerator. And, he was there, how would I know that? How would I
Right.
know she put the keys in the refrigerator?
Right.
So, I think I know that they come around and we can talk to them ourselves. And they send signs. They send signs all the time. And a lot of times you can't, you want to believe it, but it's like, oh, it's my imagination. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. I would say like 90% of the times, if you ask them for another sign, okay, I found that feather on my kitchen floor and I just mopped the floor. I want to believe it's grandma, but yeah, that human mind comes into play.
Right. Well,
And
why do you think people like? I've always found that fascinating. Well, people will talk about talking to a medium. People will talk about aliens. And people, it's just like it's almost like automatic where it's considered no, that's crazy. Where I'm thinking, well, I guess anything's possible. Why would we be the only life form? Why wouldn't there be aliens? Why wouldn't there be somebody, coming through? That's the way I see it. So, and I've always found it interesting that people have to, why would they second guess themselves with that? Maybe that feather on the floor is a sign. Maybe
right.
I have a friend that, and I don't remember why, but for some reason, every time she finds a dime,
She thinks it's her dad.
it's her brother actually, and I can't tell you how many times she'll send me a picture of a dime or stuff like that. And maybe about a year ago we were talking about it. Sure enough, maybe about 2 hours later, I go out to my car and there's a dime on the floor of my car.
There you
So
go.
what the hell? Like it's
There you go.
and that why not? Maybe I don't know.
Exactly.
Plus, I just think it gives us more of a positive outlook on things that there is more, especially after this shit that we have in this world.
It kind of makes you not take things so heavy that we're dealing with in life. I feel,
Right.
Tony, kind of like, I like to equate our time here on earth as being in school. We graduate and then we graduate, get our diploma, and we check out and we're in paradise, we're in heaven kind of thing.
Right.
And like I said, things are, it's, we've just as human beings gotten so, like, I just feel energetically stressed out and heavy and, worried about this. And I just feel it's a way to kind of make us take it a little lighter and
Sure.
step back and smell the roses. I hate to say, but, okay, we're going to be okay. We're going to get through this and things are going to work out.
Right. Yep.
Sort of thing.
So I was looking at your website. I got a few questions regarding your website.
Sure.
It says master psychic and evidential medium. So what does that mean? Evidential. I mean, not medium,
I
obviously.
always ask for evidence. The last thing I want to sound in a reading is vague.
Okay.
I'll always ask them for evidence.
What do you mean you'll ask them for evidence? Like to something that like to back up what's coming through to you?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. The other day I was doing a reading and I was reading this woman and she had a very abusive relationship.
Okay.
So much so that he ended up in prison.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. And I was being shown that, nobody should go through that. Don't get me wrong. But I was being shown that she was going to take that experience that she went through and that trauma that she went through and she was going to do something with it
Okay.
to give back.
Sure.
And she just couldn't see it, Tony. Like, you know, she just couldn't see it. And I know I was communicating with both her mom and dad. You know, at the same time, they were piggybacking each other. And all of a sudden, her father tells me, tell her about the car. Tell her about the car. Tell her about the car's tires. And I says, your dad is saying, you know, something with your car tires. And she was like, oh my God, I was rushing out to work and my eye, you know, I need tires. I know I need tires. And my eye went to the tire and my tire was flat. So to me, that was his validation and mom's validation that she's going to get through this. She's going to come out the other end. And she's actually going to be a counselor and help women. You know, nobody could understand you unless you walked in those shoes. So, and the thing that insignificant, silly little thing about her car's tires was her dad's validation evidence that I was communicating with him and
Right.
he was glimpsing into her future and saying she was going to be okay. And it kind of was like this aha moment for her. It meant so much, a silly
Sure.
thing, her tire going flat, but yeah.
Sometimes,
And
yeah.
that's-
Sometimes that's what it takes, right? Something silly and what you think
Absolutely.
is minuscule like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's always the little things. It's always the little things that for me, I find are most impactful for people.
Now, the website also says that you answer with accuracy, compassion, and truth in a warm and non-judgmental manner.
Yeah.
It must be hard, though. Like you said, you talk to somebody who was in a very abusive relationship, but she was the victim. But I'm assuming you like would once in a while come across the abuser. Like it must be hard to be non-judgmental based on what some of these people have done or what you know about them.
You know, they don't get very specific. I'll feel shades or the vibration of something, you know, not, you know, so nice.
Right.
But it's always, I'm sorry, you know, the apology comes. And, you know, Tony, what we are here as human beings, we're not on the other side. You know, we lose our ego and our pride. Those are the first emotions to go, ego and pride and jealousy and,
Sure.
and all that. And, you know, greed, they're so different. And some people take time to heal on the other side. And some people are just, you know, jump into it and they're fine. They could communicate. They're great. They're happy and all. You know, it depends. As individual as we all are, that's an individual, their experiences on the other side.
Right.
So I don't try to judge. There was a woman that I read many, many years ago. I think her review is on my website. I think it's one of them. And she... I was doing a reading for her and she wanted to connect to her ex-boyfriend who had crossed over. And her big thing was giving her AIDS.
Oh, wow.
And it was before we even knew what AIDS was. And her big thing was, did he know, you know, what was going on and everything? And she's, you know, thank God lived, you know, a long life and everything. And that was like her big question, like, did he know, you know? And he was like, I knew something was wrong, but I never thought it was anything like that.
Right. Right.
So it was a huge healing for her to know that.
Wow.
And even if he did know, I would really venture to say he would really truly be sorry, because he would see what he did to her life and what he caused her.
Yeah, sure.
know? So,
But
yeah.
I don't know if you watched The Sopranos, but there was that one scene where Paulie, one of the main characters, goes to an open reading, and you know, and all of his victims that he whacked come
Oh,
back.
wow.
So the medium turns to him, says, he starts sending him some messages. So and so says this, and so says that, and
I have not seen that episode.
excuse me. And he eventually does. He says, "All right, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." He said they were all lining up. Yeah, it was it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then there were a couple of you just mentioned some reviews on your website, which there's a ton of them, and they're all great reviews. But there were two that struck me, and I'll read them. Says that Sophia gave me a real sense of peace about some decisions I need to make, and a sense of closure I haven't been able to achieve since a marriage breakdown. Now, the other quote, thank you for always being there for me and taking the time and listening to me. 7+ years and still as amazing as ever. So, and forgive me, I'm just, I don't know a lot about this world. Okay. So to talk, for somebody to get, a sense of peace about some decisions, and then for somebody else to say they've been, after 7+ years, are still as amazing as ever. So do people, is there like a sense of, like, I guess you just said, like, to find out the boyfriend didn't know about, how bad, he knew he had something, but didn't know it would be that bad. So I guess, so it is almost like a therapy session to some degree then.
Yeah. For a lot of people it is, because they did not have that closure with, and like I said, that man might not, in his physical being, might not have been able to tell her what happened, but he's in heaven now, and he's like, his energy is very different. Like I said, those human emotions that would make him feel ashamed,
sure,
or something, he's not going to be able to come forth with here on earth, but he can on the other side. And
I wonder if they get anxious up there, because if I'm that guy, I'd be dying to let her know, hey, I didn't know.
He was, and it was a healing for him. It was a healing for her, because like I said, they could kind of see what we're going through.
Sure.
And when we are going through rough times in our lives, they are going to come around more. They are going to be, it's like another angel on your shoulder sort of thing. And sometimes people are going through rough patches, like a bad marriage or a job issue or a health issue or something. And, they need that little support from the other side. Like, Dad knows you lost your job, and, you're going to get through this. It's going to be okay. And so it depends what people are going through in their life.
Sure. Do you, between doing the readings, trying to figure out who's coming through, what they're trying to say, find out who they're talking to, then the whole emotional feeling of, because, most people, of course, they start crying and they remember and they're so happy to hear. You must be exhausted after, like what you're doing on Saturday, when at, say, I don't know, I'm assuming probably 5-ish, 5:30, when the show's over, you must be just dead.
It is exhausting for me. When I was 21, I could do this all day. Now that I'm 31, it's a little more draining for me.
31 with a 45-year marriage. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was a baby. He married me on the other side.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was negative. You were negative 15 when you got married.
Right. It is draining, because I allow them, to come through me. Like, I allow them to project a picture in my mind's eye, or to make me feel a health issue that's no longer there.
Right.
So they kind of, it could be a little heavy sometimes.
And I guess because you've recognized this, or you've known about the ability since you were younger. I guess you've had a lot of time with it, so I guess you're able to shut it off and let it come in.
I pushed it when I was young. It was scary for me. Young girl at night, kind of,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah. So I did push it away for many years. And then when I got into my 20s, it started coming back like big time. So I used it for friends. Sometimes I would get messages for myself, but I would be a millionaire if I could use it for myself.
I bet,
It's
yeah.
meant to use, for other people. And my mom died 25 years ago,
Oh wow.
and she was my best friend. And I got nothing from her. And I'm like, Ma, come on, you're killing me here. Something, give me something. And it was over a year that I got nothing. And I feel that was the biggest loss for me in my life. And I had to feel that grief. I had to feel that loss. And I had to feel, she was a very religious woman, my mother, but she was like, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? And I'm like, send me a sign that you're okay. And after a while, she did come through and all. And that's when I felt how much it would have meant for me for her to come through. So
Sure.
if I could give that to other people, and that's when I started doing it professionally.
And you can, and there's, it's not like I've never heard a medium talk about this. It's you guys can't just reach out. You can't just kind of tap in and say, "Ma, I need to talk to you for a second," and there she is, right? That
No,
it doesn't work
don't-
that way, right?
No, it doesn't work that way.
And then tell me too why what is it? Because you even said it earlier, and I've heard other mediums say it too, that everybody has this ability. They just don't know it, or they don't know how to tap into it. Can you explain that a little bit?
It's a sixth sense,
Right.
It is a sixth sense. Like, we see, we hear, and all of it. We all have it, Tony. It's just some of us, develop it more. It literally is, and I say this, and it's not a cliche. It's a muscle. The more you practice it, the more you will develop. The more you practice piano,
Right.
you
Okay.
become better at it and more proficient at it.
Sure.
I've had to find, people go, oh, meditate. And, I can't meditate. I can't shut my mind down.
You and me both. Me
Um,
neither.
But I do find certain ways, going out, walking my dogs, out in nature really helps me. Even doing housework, cleaning a floor or doing dishes helps me, because it's mindfulness. So my mind is in that direction. You have to find what works for you. And there's no right or wrong to it. But if you do try to quiet your mind and make a practice of it, it will get easier with time. And I do believe we are all born with it.
Okay. I am confused about one thing, though. You just said that you like to, that nature helps you. But you're in Staten Island, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no nature there, right?
Yes, there is. There's a lot of beautiful parks out here.
Is there?
It's not just the dump, which they made a park. It's full of deers. It's packed with deers now.
Really?
Really, we have a deer problem.
No, wow. I'm shocked. The dump and traffic. That's all I know.
We had a few immigrants that came over from New Jersey, the deers. They came across Arthur Kill, and they're just multiplying like crazy here.
Wow.
So we have deers. We have deers, and we have really lovely parks here.
Oh, okay. All right, good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, one time I went to a taping, John Edward, when he had that TV show, and I can't tell you how disappointed I was. And I'm not trying to knock the guy, but what happened was he got stuck on somebody, and I don't. So that's where I'm going. I want to know if you have the same issue. He couldn't get off this one person until something was validated. And
Because
this
it's so important.
okay, but yeah, John was rattling off a bunch of stuff. This guy had none of it made sense to this man at all, and he couldn't figure it out. And it was towards the end of the tape. It was actually it was the last guy that he was on, because he was stuck on this guy for 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
The crowd was pissed. They were so mad. And that's what ended, this is how the day ended, So at that point, people were getting antsy, people who hadn't been picked for anything. So we're down to the last 45 minutes, people who hadn't been picked were hoping for their moment. And the last 45 minutes is stuck on this one guy for 45 minutes saying, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, no. And that's how it ended. So does that happen? Do you need that validation to keep going?
Look, I'm a Brooklyn girl. I'm a little tough with them. I have 3 boys, so I get the wooden spoon out with them, and I'm like, come on. As a matter of fact, I think there's a video on my website. There's this young girl that I was reading, and there was a young soul coming through, and it was her. I think it was her aunt had a baby that was born with a heart defect.
Oh, wow.
And this little precious baby didn't last here that long. And it was actually his 10-year anniversary, and they released balloons, and he was telling me all this. I got the message. My mom wrote a message on the balloon, tell mom I got the message.
Wow.
All this and that. And he impacted his little short life impacted so many people because they did a lot of charity work with this particular heart ailment and everything. And then I kept on wanting to move on. And the woman sitting next to her, I'm like, did your mom pass? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, was it breast cancer? And she's like, no. I'm like, yeah, but I'm hearing colon cancer. And the young girl gets hysterical, and she's like, but that's my mom. And I'm saying, okay, we got to tell mom to shut up now, because I wanted to move on. And that's the hard thing with doing events with a lot of people, because you could feel people's energy, them wanting to come to you. And you try to hit on as many people as you can. But everything I said after that, she was like, that's my mom. That's my mom. That's my mom.
Wow.
And I'm like, because I could kind of communicate. Again, it sounds a little schizophrenic. I could communicate with them when I'm talking to someone. And I'm like, what are you doing? What do you want your daughter to know? Come on, give it to me, And it was the fact that she was getting married in April, and she knew that she's going like this to me. She's showing me this. I says, are you sewing something? And she sewed her mother's picture to her shoes that her mother was walking her down the aisle. And I think that video is on my website.
Wow.
And once she said that, I told her, okay, put down the microphone. We're moving on here, girl. You said your piece.
Right. You had your time. Right. That's a good.
That can happen. That can happen.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm a little tough with them.
And that's a good segue. That's when you turn to them and say, well, give them your card or something and say, for a private reading, I'll give you an hour full. Your mom will have an hour to talk just to you, and then you move on. Right. Yeah. So, all right. So, this is all good stuff. This stuff. Like I said, I do think anything's possible, but it's so freaky to me. So you.
It's freaky to me too, Tony. Let me tell you, I can't figure it out. I try to make sense of it. I'm like, how do I do this? Like, how does this work? And I just let it go.
My family actually grew up with the Long Island Mediums family. I personally didn't know them that well, but my mother and my brother did. And and when when that show first became popular, I wasn't a fan. I like to watch the readings, but all that other stuff, the fighting and the kids and all. I was like, what is this?
That's like filler.
like some stupid reality show. And she wasn't really. Again, I didn't know her terribly well, but she just didn't strike me as that. She wasn't. I don't recall her being much like that. But I had friends that were. So I started to wonder, if she was on the up and up. To be honest with you, but a lot of. Again, because we, grew up with them, so we had a lot of mutual friends. Yep. So many of them, everybody I talked to was, oh, no, she did a reading for me, and she was, spot on. So, okay, cool. But, so when you and I talked yesterday about setting this up today, you were nice enough to offer me a reading. Are we still good with that?
Are you?
Yeah, sure. I'm up for it. Why not?
Well, um, is there another Anthony in your family? Not father, but grandfather? Because I
Um,
keep on hearing the name over and over again. And I'm also getting a D or G initial around you
there is another Anthony. He's not a grandfather, but there is another Anthony,
in the
and
family,
yeah,
related on your paternal side.
yes, paternal. That's my mother's side, right?
Father, your father's
Oh,
side.
no, not that I know of. Yeah, not that I know of. And the D and
The
the
Anthony
G,
would be on your mom's side.
yes.
It's her brother.
Oh, yeah, spot on.
Um,
The D and the G doesn't mean
no,
doesn't.
D, Donna, Diane, Dylan, David, or G. I'm getting a D or a G initial. Real. I'm feeling it's more female than male. And I'm feeling somebody on your mom's side, or it could be a partner. You in a relationship now? Not to get
Yes,
personal,
that's all
but
right.
somebody. There's a female connection to this person with a D. Um,
Yeah, nothing rings a
all
bell
right,
there.
put it on the back burner
Got
for
it.
now.
Okay.
But I just have to say I'm feeling really, really strong. And um, is your dad still here, Tony?
My dad?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Was there a chest issue that he passed of ultimately? There was two things he's telling me he was dealing with. But there was a chest issue.
Possibly, yes. I don't know a lot of details about his death, but it is from what I do know, it is possible that there was a chest
Mom's
thing.
still here?
Mom is still here. Yes.
Okay, because he's giving a shout out to mom.
Okay.
Um, uh, was he was he kind of tough on the outside but mushy on the inside, your dad? Like he came across like, I don't want to say hard, but like a did he work with a lot of men?
He, yeah, probably. I.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take
Okay.
it.
Okay. Okay.
Don't go there. I
Sorry.
take it.
Okay.
Um um I just what whose birthday or passing is the month of February?
Birthday or passing in February?
There's some celebration um in the month of February. And this person who's connected with February, Tony, had some kind of GI issue, like I'm getting like in the midsection. Um,
No, I don't, yeah, it doesn't ring a bell there either.
think about the Anthony.
Okay. His
Don't
birthday.
say it,
Okay, sorry.
but
But
somebody that he would be. You said it was your mom's brother,
correct.
and is there a was he married?
Yes.
There's got to be a D or G initial around this man. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to.
No, it's all right.
Somebody in his family, or his wife, or he had children with her.
Yes. And I'm sitting there going through their names.
I know.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, I'll mention all this to my mother. Maybe she'll.
Middle last name.
I'm sorry.
When I say an initial, it could be a first, middle, or last name.
Okay. Yeah, it might make more sense to her. I'll mention it to her. I'm actually going to see her in a little while. So, yeah, I'll run all
Is
this
she
by
a
her.
B initial?
I'm sorry.
A B initial?
B. No
Okay.
B's.
I'm like, Was he, your dad was the chest,
Yeah, possibly, yes.
but um but this man, this Anthony,
Right.
did he have don't just yes or no? He didn't pass of an accident.
No.
He
Well,
passed of an illness.
correct. He did not. Yeah, he died of an illness. Yes.
Okay. Was it something that went throughout his body? Like it impacted like a few organs?
Yes.
Did it start in like his stomach and his kidneys, his liver? I'm like right in my midsection here.
I honestly I don't recall where it started,
Okay.
but I do believe it was like midsection somewhere, but I'm not positive.
Because I'm he's pointing like his midsection, his mid area.
Okay.
And who had an issue walking?
Well,
Something with
he did towards the end, but I have an
knee,
issue.
knee.
Well, I have a prosthetic leg.
Are you kidding me?
No,
No, you wouldn't kid. Would you kid me?
there it is. There it is.
I believe you. I believe you. Um, that's like a big validation. That's a big validation from your uncle Anthony.
Oh, okay.
That because he's telling me he's making me see someone like with a limp kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be me.
And that was an accident.
Me?
Uh-huh.
No, no, it was not. It was an illness.
Okay. Not that what that was what Anthony passed of,
Right.
but is there like some like distant connection? Because he's saying you're different,
Well,
but well, we know you're different.
exactly. Yeah, he's not talking about illnesses there.
No, but there's some, and it's more than your name. It's more than the connection that you have with but he wanted to bring you into the reading, and the way he did it was you walking with like a little limp, a slight limp. I feel you do really good, but
Yeah.
if you didn't hold up your prosthetic leg, I would have never known.
Yeah, I get everybody with that.
And is there a Michael or Mark or Matt?
There is a Michael. Yes,
Who is that?
that would be Uncle Tony. I called him, but that would be one of his sons.
Okay. He had 3 children or two?
No, he had four. Has four.
Two and two? Was it 2 girls, 2 boys?
3 and 1. Three boys, 1 girl.
Okay. None of their birthdays are in February, do you know?
I don't know their birthdays, but it actually, you know what? His oldest Michael's oldest son might be February. I'm not positive, but I think he's February.
So Michael had a baby?
Yeah, Uncle Tony's son Michael has the 4 kids. The 3 boys and a girl, and I think the oldest boy might be February. Again, I'm not positive.
Is there something going on with him? Some kind of job?
I don't even know.
Okay, ask the mom when
Okay.
you see the mom.
Okay.
And all.
I will.
And there's also, I feel I'm going, are both of your grandmothers crossed over?
Yes.
Is one an A initial or B initial?
A.
Anna?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Because she's stepping forward now and she wants to take this opportunity to say hi to you. Was she like, you should tell me to watch it. Was she tough? Was she a tough lady?
She was a tough lady.
Because she's like going like, all right, I let everybody talk, and now I have the floor. Now,
Yeah.
now I want to talk to my grandson.
That would be her.
She's a riot. She's a riot. I don't know if this is her. Did she have a lot of siblings?
She did.
Like a lot of sisters and
Yeah, I'd have to think about. I forget because I didn't know a lot of them, but yeah, she was one of.
I
I think.
feel like a big family. Like I feel like she
Yeah.
came from a big family and everything.
Yes. Yes.
And did she speak Italian? Like, did she know the Italian curses?
I think so. She wasn't like one of those off the boat Italians, but
No, no, no.
but
But
she. I think she knew that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because she's like very down to earth, very grounded. Um, give you the heart, give you her heart, but she's a tough cookie.
Yeah. She was definitely a tough
She was
cookie.
a tough cookie.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if this is her or did I didn't say her husband's name, right?
No.
Okay. Um um what is she showing me? Nobody was in the food industry.
Yeah. There is a food industry story with our family. Yes.
There is.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, because she was showing me, she was taking me like into the kitchen, but it's like, no, it's more than that.
Well, yeah, because I tell the story all the time, so maybe this is her validating that she hears me or something. But
There you go.
Celentano, the frozen foods in the supermarkets, you're familiar with it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we're related to them, and I don't remember if it was my grandfather or one of his brothers. Somebody got a phone call from somebody saying, this is going back, I think, to the 40s or 50s.
Oh wow.
Hi, I'm so and so. I'm so and so, and we have the same last name. He goes. I've been researching. I've been trying to find family. He says I'm building up this food business, and I want to
Wow.
keep it in the family. So I'm looking for family members to invest, and we'll all be partners. And my family thought it was just somebody trying to scam them for money, so they turned it down. And
No.
yeah, so Celentano, all the frozen foods you see in the
Oh
supermarket.
wow.
I would not
Wow.
be sitting here now if somebody said yes.
Wow, wow, wow. All right.
But yeah,
Well, there she
I'm
goes.
assuming that's what the food industry. That's the only food industry story connection that I know of
No,
in
that
our
would be
family.
it. And that was like a big thing.
Yeah,
That was a big thing for Anna.
yeah,
Because she's showing me like food having to do with food, and I'm like I said, it's like Anna, she's Italian, cooking,
yeah,
kind of like,
yeah. She's always in the
she's like,
kitchen. Yeah,
and she's like, no, 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 it's like she's showing me commercial.
there you go.
She's showing me the trucks. Nobody was in the trucking industry.
My well, my father was. He briefly drove a truck for a particular company, but that's only trucking. I drove a truck for a short time.
Okay.
That's really the only things I can think of in trucking. We're
That
not
was
mobbed up, if that's what you're asking.
No. No, I'm not. But she was showing me a truck, Anna, um passing with like a name. I couldn't quite catch the name, but like someone driving a truck and all. Um she's a pistol.
Yeah,
Did she didn't have birds, did she?
birds.
Yeah. Like parrots or lovebirds.
No,
Who c-
my I think my other grandmother had. I don't think she had birds, but maybe some relatives that she lived with may have had birds at one time, like a parrot or something.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm
Yeah,
not seeing like birds, but I'm seeing like birds in a cage.
yeah, but that
Um,
was my father's mother.
okay. So we have her coming in with
Oh,
her little validation. Um, There's somebody, Tony, I feel there's some kind of connection with they use things that I know in my life to get me to say certain things.
Sure.
Um, and there's some kind of connection with one of your relatives with my grandfather, Vincent.
Oh.
Um, and I can't quite make what about Vincent. Um, they're getting me that they're trying to get me to say.
Okay.
I can't get it. I can't hear. Did somebody lose a younger um a younger not young but to our way of thinking, like in their 30s or 40s.
Well, yeah. Mentioning my father's mother, which, by the way, I think she may have passed in February. It was many years ago, so I don't remember too well. But
It's
it may
okay.
may have been
See if you could validate it with
right.
someone.
But but yeah, to lose somebody in their 30s, that was my father. Actually, he died in his 30s.
Okay. Um because it was just like another validation that he gave me.
Okay.
I wasn't going younger than that, but he was taking me like right there as uh was it very quick that he died? I feel it was his chest. He's going like this to me, but he's saying it was pretty quick. If that makes sense or not to you?
I don't think it was definitely because I was young at the time, but it was definitely a few months, between what happened and then him passing. So I don't know what you mean, what
He's
quick is. But
saying that he felt something off, but he didn't address it. If that makes sense or not.
is this in relation to what happened to what killed him? Is that what you mean?
I think so. His illness.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. 'Cause, like I said, I was young. I was only
All right.
10, so I didn't get a lot of details
But
from it. So
and why are they showing me a pair of shoes? Did you have your dad's shoes, or did your mom keep your dad's shoes?
I'd have to ask my mother. I didn't have any shoes of his. Or my I'd have to ask. I don't have anything. I have one item of his, and it's not shoes.
No, no. This is something, like the food truck.
Oh, right.
This is something very, very specific.
No.
Um, I'm seeing, when kids take their sneakers and they tie the laces together.
Right.
That's what he's showing me, but they're not sneakers. They're shoes. They're like black. They're like shoes.
Well,
Just
this might be a stretch, but I'm here at Governor's, and I run a comedy troupe. We do audience interactive dinner theater shows,
okay.
and just I don't know, maybe a month ago, we were doing a show where I run it. I have a business partner and it's our troupe, and my business partner was hosting the show, and he had boots on, and he kicked the boots off in the middle of the show. I forget why. He was doing something funny, and he kicked the boots off. So what I did to mess with him, I tied the laces together and I threw them up.
No.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes, right in the middle of the show, and he had no idea because he was, doing his job, working with the audience. So I did this
Yeah.
and then when the show ended, he had, of course I didn't tell him, so I watched him for about a half hour looking for his boots. But that's the only thing I can think of when you talk about
That's
tying them up.
absolutely it. It's absolutely it.
Oh, okay.
Because he was very specific in tying it together.
Right.
And he was because I'm asking him for more information. He's telling me the shoes, the boots, that works for me, but he was very specific in the tying together. So know that when you did that, your father was there, and he was watching over, and he just thought it was hysterical.
And it actually was in that particular show. We travel. We don't have our own facility. We travel, and
Okay.
that show happened to be in the town he grew up in.
Well, there you go. Another coincidence,
Yeah.
you could say, but don't you think that that would be a good validation that you were in the town your dad grew up in?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
He was very. I'm like, what is? I knew they weren't sneakers. But I
Right.
knew they were, leather. But he was very specific in the tying together. So your dad knows that you did that when you were in his town.
Right. Right.
And did you go have pizza? He's talking about a pizzeria there.
No.
Why is he talking about pizza?
I have no idea.
All right, think about that.
I'll definitely think about that.
But the fact that it was his town
Right.
and he was very specific in that was a good validation.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
He comes in, watches over you all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He's telling me you keep him busy. So I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. We'll take that.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, probably.
And you're a good son. He's telling me
Oh,
how you will take care of mom.
yeah. Okay. I'll take that.
Okay. Well, he's giving it. So I'm just going to leave it at that, too.
All right. Cool.
Sometimes your life is so busy and crazy and all, but when she really needs you, you're there for her. And that's important to him. And he's thanking you for that.
All right. Very nice.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. That you took more time with that than I expected. So I really appreciate that very much. That was
My
great.
pleasure.
Absolutely.
My
So
pleasure.
so it's this Saturday,
Yes, it is.
December 3rd, 3 o'clock. Doors open at 1 o'clock right here in the Giggle Room, which is right down the hallway from where I'm sitting right now. Come on down. Check out Sophia, New York Medium. She's fantastic. You guys are going to have a great time. And you can go to govs.com to make your reservations. And are there any other appearances or anything that you want to just mention?
Not
while
right
you...
now. I kind of
Okay.
lay low around the holidays. And
Okay.
January, it's kind of like my vacay time.
Mhm.
So I kind of lay low. But
Good for you.
After that, we'll be working on some things. We have some things that we're working on.
Very
that'll
nice.
be posted on my website.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
It was really, I loved your show.
Oh,
and your
thanks.
questions.
Cool. I'm glad. We'll do it again sometime.
Sounds good.
Great.
Sounds good. I'd like to meet you in person.
Would love that. Unfortunately, I won't be here Saturday. No, yeah, I won't. I'm playing Santa Claus all day Saturday. And,
Oh, I love it.
yeah. So unfortunately, I won't be here Saturday. But yeah, eventually we'll have to do that. I would love that.
We will hook up one way or another.
Sounds good to me. Thanks,
All
Sophia,
right.
very much.
Take care. You're very welcome.
All
Have
right.
a good one.
You